Some watch brands look untouchable today until sales slow down. Behind the polished cases and luxury names, the watch industry is changing fast and some brands may not survive the next few years. Here are 11 watch brands that could look very different, disappear, or become extremely difficult to find by 2027. Number 11. Baume Mercier. Baume Mercier has one of those names that sounds almost impossible to lose. The Swiss brand has been around since the 19th century and has built a reputation around traditional Swiss watches. But in today's market, heritage alone does not guarantee survival. The biggest challenge is attention. Consumers now have an enormous number of choices, from affordable mechanical watches to independent brands and highly recognizable luxury names. A brand sitting between affordable luxury and high-end watches can find itself squeezed from both directions. It could mean fewer models, fewer stores, or a much smaller presence. And that leads us to another company facing a very different problem. Number 10. Maurice Lacroix. Maurice Lacroix is another Swiss name that many watch fans know, but casual buyers may struggle to remember. The brand has produced some genuinely interesting watches, especially through collections like the Icon. The problem is that the modern watch market is brutally competitive. At one end, you have major luxury brands with enormous marketing budgets. At the other, smaller independent companies are attracting enthusiasts with unusual designs and strong personalities. Its watches can be attractive and technically interesting, but attracting enough buyers to keep growing is another question. If the brand loses retail space or fails to create another major hit, 2027 could look very different. Number 9. Raymond Weil. Raymond Weil has survived for decades by offering classic Swiss watches without entering the extreme luxury category. That strategy worked for a long time. But today's buyer is different. A younger customer spending several $1,000s on a watch may want a powerful story, an instantly recognizable design, or something that feels exclusive. Raymond Weil has heritage, but heritage only works when people care about it. The brand has collections such as the Freelancer and Maestro, but maintaining relevance in a market dominated by Rolex, Omega, Cartier, Tudor, and dozens of rising independent brands is incredibly difficult. The danger here may not be total disappearance. It could simply be becoming a name that fewer people notice. Number 8. Eterna. Eterna is a fascinating case because its history is much bigger than its current visibility. The Swiss manufacturer has been connected to important developments in watchmaking, and its history includes the famous Eterna-matic movement. But today, historical importance does not automatically translate into commercial success. A brand can have incredible archives and still struggle to sell enough watches. For collectors, that makes Eterna particularly interesting. If its modern presence continues shrinking, the brand could become known more for its history than for new watches. And once a watch company reaches that stage, rebuilding can become extremely difficult. Number 7. Alpina. Alpina has a strong identity built around sporty Swiss watches and its connection to outdoor and adventure themes. The brand has produced some interesting mechanical pieces and has a loyal following. But it faces a familiar problem. There are now countless brands fighting for the same enthusiast who wants a sporty mechanical watch. Some are cheaper. Some have stronger histories. Others simply have better marketing. Alpina therefore needs more than good watches. It needs a reason for the next generation of buyers to remember the name. If that connection weakens, the brand could become much harder to find in mainstream retail. Number 6. Ulysse Nardin. Now we get to a much more complicated example. Ulysse Nardin is not some obscure little company. It has a remarkable history, particularly in marine chronometers and high-end mechanical watchmaking. Its modern watches can also be extremely innovative, but innovation comes with risk. Highly complicated watches can be expensive to produce and difficult to sell in large numbers. And when luxury spending slows, niche high-priced brands can feel the pressure quickly. Ulysse Nardin has an identity that is very different from mainstream luxury brands. That can be a strength. But it can also limit the number of customers willing to spend serious money on the watches. So the question isn't whether the watches are good. It's whether enough people will continue buying them. Number 5. Corum. Few Swiss watch brands have designs as unusual as Corum. The bubble collection alone is enough to make people stop and look. That uniqueness is part of Corum's appeal, but it can also be a weakness. Luxury buyers often want something distinctive, but they also want something that holds its value and remains recognizable. Corum's unusual designs can make the brand memorable without necessarily making it broadly desirable. That creates a difficult balance. If the company can turn its unusual identity into a new generation of demand, it could survive comfortably. If not, it risks becoming increasingly niche. And in the luxury watch business, being too niche can be dangerous. Number 4. Franck Muller. Franck Muller is another name that once had enormous visibility among luxury watch buyers. Its bold tonneau-shaped cases and complicated watches became instantly recognizable. But luxury trends change. The oversized, highly decorated aesthetic that once attracted huge attention is competing against a new generation of buyers who may prefer smaller, cleaner, vintage-inspired watches. Franck Muller still has a distinctive identity, and that is valuable. But maintaining that identity while convincing new buyers to care about it is the challenge. The brand doesn't necessarily need to become more traditional. It needs to remain relevant. And that may be harder than it sounds. Number 3. Hublot. Hublot might seem like an unexpected name on this list. After all, it is one of the most recognizable luxury watch brands in the world. But that's exactly why its situation is worth watching. Hublot built much of its identity around bold designs, unusual materials, huge watches, and celebrity-driven marketing. That strategy was incredibly successful. But luxury consumers eventually move on to new trends. If buyers begin favoring quieter, more understated watches, Hublot could face a serious challenge in maintaining the same level of excitement. Again, that doesn't mean Hublot is going away. It means the brand may have to evolve. And sometimes the brands that survive difficult periods are the ones willing to change before they are forced to. Number 2. Weil Watch. Weil Watch is another brand that could become much harder to spot in mainstream watch stores. The brand has built its identity around rugged mechanical watches, strong loom, and designs inspired by railroad history and professional use. Its watches are distinctive, especially for buyers who want something different from the usual luxury names. But that same niche positioning can create a problem. Weil has to compete with established Swiss brands while also fighting a growing number of independent companies offering interesting mechanical watches at lower prices. If fewer retailers decide to carry the brand, its visibility could shrink quickly. The watches may still exist, but finding them in 2027 could require going directly to specialist dealers or the secondary market. Number 1. Perrelet. Perrelet has one of the strangest and most interesting histories in Swiss watchmaking. The brand is associated with early automatic watch development and has built modern collections around unusual movements and eye-catching designs. For serious enthusiasts, that history gives Perrelet plenty of credibility. The problem is visibility. In luxury watches, being good isn't enough. A brand needs constant attention from collectors, retailers, and younger buyers. Perrelet has never had the same global recognition as the biggest Swiss names. That makes its future particularly interesting. If the brand finds a way to turn its unusual designs and historic credentials into renewed excitement, it could survive and grow. But if demand continues to concentrate around a small group of famous names, Perrelet could become increasingly difficult to find. And that may be the real story behind several brands on this list. They don't have to disappear completely to become almost invisible.